Good evening, and welcome to the Glass Congress. It's good to see your shining faces again. Tonight I will be teaching on why nation fails. Maybe this is a message this is a message that a nation of the world needs to listen to know why lawlessness, to know why disorder, confusion, and murder, terror is always evident in the nations. And this message is for the leaders, to be precise. And each one of us, as we're seated, we are all leaders. Being a leader doesn't really necessarily mean that you're holding a public office, though. Being a leader goes beyond holding a public office. We are all leaders in our own little ways. If you happen to find yourself in a family where you probably are the first son or the first daughter, you're a leader. Even though you're not the first of your siblings, probably you might be a leader in your school, in your pals, in your gathering. We are all leaders. Even no matter how small we are all leaders. Why nation fails? Lawlessness and disorder is now the order of the day. We live in a world where terror wants to overthrow the light of light. And we fold our hands and think it's cool. Every day in the nation, you can't open the news headline and not find one case of murder. Why? Why is it so? Is it that the security agency or the security personnel are not trying? No. It's just so overwhelming. They cannot be everywhere at the same time. And given to the level of technology, some nations can't afford security. They can't afford the arsenals to properly defeat this insurgency. So in a case like this, what do we do? First of all, we have to analyze why first there is high break of lawlessness or high breaking of the law. First, why nation fails? I believe nations fail because one, lawlessness. Law exists to direct, guide, and protect the territory. That is why there is a law. That is why there is the assembly, the National Assembly. That's why they are the lawmakers. These are the laws are probably debated, voted for before they are properly passed. There's no law that exists without being debated. No, there's no law that was superimposed on the people. Yes, some actually are, but it must pass a vetting system. And why are some laws harmful? Because the people sit and watch these people make all necessary laws without proper public hearing. Not because they don't want to, but they don't know how the laws will benefit them. So they are like, what's happening? Before the law is passed, there's confusion. Lawlessness. And some of our leaders have grown thick-skinned. The big wigs now think they are above the law. Probably because you're a lawmaker, you think you can break the law. That's so foolish. And the people sit and all we could do is to talk. No more. No, I said no more. We are not just going to sit and talk. We must create a change. We must ignite something. And honestly, we need to grow. And the only way we can resist false knowledge is with the right knowledge. You can't resist false knowledge with wrong knowledge, you can't resist falsehood by just sitting down. You need to listen and learn. And many of our leaders forgot that the office they enter into, they took an oath to protect. And probably this is the reason why nations fail right now. So they think they are above the law because they are above the people. No, you are not above your people. Just because you are in a referenced position, it's not a guarantee for you to overlook that the people and then march on their heads and then move on. No, that's not a guarantee. This is why we exist, to teach and arm you with the right information. So these leaders, when they enter the office, they probably swear an oath of office to protect the office. And when they enter that office, they behave the way they want to. And at the end, they leave the office. Not really. They abuse the power, they abuse the privileges, and they abuse the people. And they think they have gotten away with it. And at the end, the people suffer, because when you enter an office, you represent the will of the people. And when the will of the people are not properly represented, you cause havoc to the people. Even while you are not there, you might think you are safe, but you are not. This is the reason why you see someone leaves the office. Probably the president of any nation might just vacate the office, and the next one will have a lot of debt to pay. And you notice it takes time. And this debt, this method that they didn't properly manage, will not set the nation aback. And you find people suffering over something they know not. There is a law. We all have read the laws of our nations, and the consequences when you break a law. But what happens when someone that thinks is above the law and actually have the connections to cover the truth breaks the law? What happens? The person thinks he's free. No, they are not free. There is an unseen laws that govern the universe. In many ways, there's some people, some organization or society or some or religious sects, they call it the law of karma. Don't think you can get away with anything you've done. There are unforeseen laws that will actually get you down. So don't just break laws because of you're in the office. The people are suffering. And when these laws are broken, you notice that clamor, doom, ruins comes upon the people. As an elected governmental individual, public holder or public office, please endeavor to uphold the oath or the vow you've made. Now, unity is tied to a law, progress is tied to a law, harmony is tied to a law, understanding is tied to a law, even war is tied to a law. So when you break a law, probably you've set in confusion, and at the end, the people suffer. The pitfalls of lawlessness. Lawlessness drives the people out of their homes and turns them into internally displaced persons, IDPs, or refugees. You find that when a law is being tampered or broken, there is always terror, and terror comes with death, and death comes with confusion. And when this happens, people leave their homes in search for safety. You see mother leaving her baby, her children, father leaving the family, the children running helter skelter. You find out that the cases of rape increases. There is lawlessness because someone breaks the law, and the person is trying to superimpose himself on the people. Disobedience disobedience to law causes disorder and death. Now, secondly, why nations fail? Ignorance. Ignorance is the reason why people commit a crime. First, what is ignorance? Ignorance is the lack of knowledge or information, being unaware of important information or fact. Many of us, let me use the word, are obsolete. We are not open to new technologies, we are not open to new informations. We think that the way of the old remains the right way. But it's not entirely true. You should be open to information. You should be open to new realms of knowledge. You should be open to new heights of wisdom. You should be open. Don't just stay and hope that the world will evolve around you. No, that's a wrong thing to do and to think. Maybe this is the reason why there are IDPs all around the world, because of lawlessness. We need to wake up. We need to checkmate these informations. We need to checkmate their actions. We need to be formidable. The last, as of last week, I thought about developing the mind. We need to be the butterflies that needs to build a bridge. We need it. You don't just need to stand at the place and watch your brother die. No. The other time I was driving around the city of Abuja, and a road safety personnel happened to stop me over the way, or around the way, and put me over. And I asked officer, what's the problem? And he said, my papers. I gave him my papers. And he said, he checked me, he checked the car. And at the long run, he said, my papers were almost being expired. I think I have 2 weeks to the expiration of my papers. That they have to, I think, seize my car. That was the language. But I told him that I still have 2 weeks. He said it doesn't mean that as long as it's probably January, that I need to do it before the expiration. And I laughed. What level of ignorance? You know, the rest of the personnel forgot that he's talking to a learned person. So I told him, okay, let's go. No problem, I've heard you. Let's go to your office. So when you got there, by the grace of God, I called some of their, superiors, and before we got there, he said, "Oh, I beg, take your paper, Joe. You know the phone like so, I know the law." It's crazy. They know the right thing, but they choose not to do it. And imagine me conforming now to that threat, or bringing up probably a tip, or I call it a bribe. You can imagine. Now, when he knows that he can break me, and probably there are people like me, like that, like 6 to 10, that always stand against this thing. You notice that information limits, how will I say, information brings a tight end, or it closes corruption. The right information. When you know, it's enough to resist abuse. Yes, sometimes in our nations, we know that even with the right information, you will still be victimized. But at least stand for the right thing. If shouting is your last resort, shout. Don't allow anyone to intimidate you. I hate being intimidated. You can do everything to me, though. Don't intimidate me. I would fight back. So what am I saying? Imagine I was ignorant of the law. Imagine I was intimidated by someone who doesn't even know the law but works for the law. And for posterity's sake, be informed I'm not talking about that every federal road safety personnel is unprofessional. We can still have the bad wagons among them, though. So, ignorance. Now, the pitfalls of ignorance are racism, fanaticism of terror, and threats to the environment are caused by sheer ignorance of the people. So the terror we all see around us, be it in our political sector, military sector, or social educational sector, can be tied to ignorance. Because when you choose to ignore, your decisions must be incorrect decisions. Thirdly, let's quickly look at illiteracy. The inability to read or write, lack of knowledge in a particular subject. A lot of factors can be attributed to illiteracy, like lack of encouragement and awareness, uneducated parents having to see no need in education, hardship, that is poverty in some regions of the world, doing badly or dropping out of school, poor inadequate facilities, poor teaching, learning materials, irrelevant curriculum, peers and societal influences. Now, the pitfall of illiteracy. When you don't know, you can't keep up. Individuals with low level of illiteracy are more likely to experience poorer employment opportunities and outcome and lower income. As a result, they often face welfare dependency, low self-esteem, and high level of crimes. Now, to cut it all short, what is the best way to checkmate lawlessness in our nations and help build a better nations around the world? First of all, we need to educate the people. Education drives us stupidity. When you're educated, my dear, nobody can intimidate you. Even if you don't have money, you will work with your pride. You can admit to that. And education is not only gotten in the classroom. Mind you, Let's stop. We graduates, let's stop intimidating people that didn't make it to the university. It's not education. Education didn't end in the classroom. There is let me give you a funny scenario. Do you know that majority of our mechanics are not graduates? And you as a graduate, you take your car to them and they repair it. Why can't you as a graduate learn how to do mechanic? So you say we should stop this bragging. I'm a grad. No, don't do that. You should equally show love even to people that we are all educated in our own fields, not just because maybe you are a lawyer, you are a medical practitioner, a lab scientist, and you think you can intimidate people. No, we all need each other. And second of all, let me end here, love. We all need love. Our nations need love. If we must build beautiful nations around the world, we must love one another. Love is the key. Love is all we need. Love conquers hate. Love conquers racism. Love is all we need. When we love, we protect our environment. We protect our family. We protect our nation against external and internal threats. We all need education and love. We need to be educated. And I guess I will end here. For tonight, probably we'll continue this series because we are a family that is time cautious. Please, we must be intentional this year to do what is right. And from my heart, I love you all. And wherever you're listening to me from around the world, I really appreciate you for your time. And we are here for you. And you alone. Our local family, I love you. And I want to end with this word. If all you do is educating people and loving people, you are the best version of yourself. I love you. Thank you.